Unist'ot'en. Je suis Unist'ot'en.
Kanyanga Haga, Ranata Haruni, Wolf Clan.
Lexilio Huzhatsid. I am Lexilio, Small Frog Clan. This is what's on my hat. This is my symbol I've had for many, many years on my chef's hat. Je suis Lexilio, Clan de Petit Grenouille. C'est Quinby Bahasli. I belong to Quinby, the house beside the fire. Je partais en maison près de feu.
I am under the title Honored It Goa.
Now it's a Buzi Wadigwats. Our house chief's name is Wadigwats. Le nom du chef héréditaire de notre maison, c'est Wadigwats.
I am from the Longhouse up the hill in Ganawagi.
Tabi Mesak Navazini. Thank you for listening. Merci beaucoup pour votre appui et de m'avoir écouté.
Yawagoa.
Sai Habidini Alba Seitna. Please share this to the world. We are telling the truth. Partagez notre histoire avec le monde, c'est la vérité. First of all, I would like to thank the Mohawk Nation for allowing me to speak tonight and also to share my important message that we have through all of you that have shown up here tonight and also many of the events that have happened since the 7th of January.
I come here tonight, I bring my father's medicine with me. It is the Bear Clan Eagle Fan. And the reason why I bring it is because we all need medicine. And to remind you of that, when our people went to see the medicine people, they were not specialists specializing in your foot or your leg. They were medicine people that looked at everything about your body, about your spirit. And they could tell you just by looking in your eyes if there was something wrong with your liver, if there was something wrong with your feet. And so the reason why we bring this fan tonight is to clear the air of all the poisons that are poisoning the minds of the people that gets us to this stage where we are today. She should not have to stand here in this place of all places. She should not have to stand here to defend her people. Why would this happen? The corruption is so big today that it has inflicted everybody. The people no longer know of how they are poisoned, and so when they are walking in this world, they are spreading the poison. When we seen, when she was speaking of Justin Trudeau and what he said, after she identified that it is the hereditary chiefs that speak for her nation, as it is the hereditary chiefs that speak for my nation. But yet, Justin Trudeau identifies that we have to find a way to get a voice of all the people so they can rape us all with one swift motion like that. No. The non-native people know. And you are to correct your leadership that the elected band council system does not represent our people. It is an infliction of Britain upon our people. It is the same corruption of your political system. And so, she should not have to be here. And she does not have to give thanks to the Mohawk Nation for letting her speak. Her voice is to be heard. All the mothers' voices are to be heard. The non-native people are to stand with our mothers, listen to our mothers' voice, and return our mothers back to power, to their natural seat of authority, where they belong so they can manage our people properly once again. This is how it should be in your people as it is within our people. If you are going to remain here in this land, even this building, these are my rocks. Those are my trees. And look what you have done to them. Not that it is you, but you are still stuck into a system that is so corrupt that no matter how much you want to protest, you are still stuck in it. Listen to her words when she says, It is the hereditary chiefs. So next time, you do not recognize elected leaders. They are not leaders, they are puppets. They are only leading our people to slaughter. If you recognize them in the universities, in true governments, you are part of the genocide. She says, our mother says, hereditary chiefs. Not this elected puppets of democracy, because it is the same poison of you. No.
Yes.
When January the 7th first came out, before everything transpired on January the 8th of this year, I said to my sister, who I've spoken to on a daily thing for the last 6 months, ever since actually Enbridge has been going on in BC with our people. She was very worried, and she called and she said, I am very sad for our people. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. She lives in Smithers, BC. Her house is right across from a hotel where a big bus was there full of RCMP. And she said, Marlene, they don't just have rifles. Those are not just normal rifles. I don't know what this is about. Wow, there's only 14 people, 15 people up there. I said, we got to remove the elders and the children away from there. They did. We all know from January the 8th what has transpired when Molly Wickham was arrested along with 14 other people. So many things have just erupted ever since then. That day, or the day before, I phoned many people that I know in the city of Montreal, and I begged them to listen to me. One of the person that came up and really did something, she gave me a list of 4 big things worldwide to get this message out. And one of them has heard. And this is from the Guardian Weekly, which is 47 million people that come out of Britain. And the headlines on it was Indigenous Pipeline Protests Cast a Shadow on Trudeau. So now I was worried on January the 7th. If I said I wanted to get this word out BC-wide, Canada-wide, nationwide. Well, you know, with all of you and everybody else, it's now worldwide. It's amazing how fast word comes to you as like, my whole life has just turned around on a dime. I think sometimes in my back that I've been in Montreal since 2012. J'ai parlé de français. J'ai attendu français l'école pour 5 mois. I have done everything I needed to do to be the right person to come into Quebec. I know I'm just a lonely Wet'suwet'en, but I know I have a lot of friends. And behind me is, come forward, Barbara, is what I took as a big photo of a lot of my teachings is the history of the Wet'suwet'en people in our history books. And when this came out, it was sent to me the minute I was here only for a month. And I was very honored that my people, my hereditary chiefs, have named me the ambassador, the food ambassador to the Wet'suwet'en people because of my bannock and all the other stuff I do. But just who I am and what I represent. They used to tell me, said, you know, when I leave and I come back, don't forget who you are and where you come from. I don't. I always go home every 6 months. Those are my people. My chiefs, I have sat around the table with them many, many, many times and gone home, most of them for their funerals. In this history book, this one elder is talking. It seems like her time, she knew that this was going to happen. She spoke at this time. Her name is Guhe. Her name is Lucy Rose Basil. And she is almost about 90% of what this book is all about. She talked at that time, the trap line, when they first did it, when she was 6 years old, they would take exactly where they are today in Unist'ot'en From Smithers, BC, we drive to Houston to what Unist'ot'en would be today. It takes an hour to drive. In her time, it took a whole week by horse and buggy. When she stopped, she saw her first white man, and she would talk stories about all their encountering, how she said, my dad allowed them to hunt on our land. They had to tie up their dogs, and we welcomed them. We worked together in that time. Our tea that we had today that we made, what I made with the moose meat and whatnot, is all traditional tea. It was donated by Leah Dion, which I appreciated because she really shows a lot. The same thing what this lady does with traditional teas from traditional territories. We have here what we call Hudson Bay tea. Here it's called Labrador tea. So the tea you had tonight was just basically all the stories and the teachings and everything else that she puts on all her life. And she was saying at many times, like when the Indian agents came, how they really didn't educate our people properly. Most people signed their name with an X. They did not know what they were signing. The hereditary chiefs now have got a lot more handle on it than people that they did in the 1920s, when all of this was our land first started. And that's all I teach, that's all I talk about to the kids, young and old, everywhere. Lucy Rose Berrigan was 95 when she passed away, and she died a very healthy life. Guhe is my mother. She's part of my teaching. Everything I am today is what she taught me, and what we teach to the young ones today. We know that the young kids today are televising how angry they are at us. We have messed up their world, and they're protesting worldwide. BC, what's happening in the Unist'ot'en, Wet'suwet'en territory is just actually what is the Amazon of the North. It is very destructive. The images that I see, what I would now say my people, these are my sisters. Wadi Gwatz, he just passed away. He was one of the greatest elders. He was the last living person who was on the Melgamus when they was the witness, when we had the first treaties, last treaty signed. It was just amazing. We just lost him, but he got to witness a lot of the things that are coming up in our territory, but he did not witness the tragedy that was today. We're just really happy he didn't get to see it, because he is a big part of that territory. Right now, when he passed away, it's the person that took over that. I say, Skyze Denise Zakuze. Denise's mother passed away January the 7th. That's why they moved in. They waited for a weak moment. The RCMP moved in. Now we know the rest of the stories. Potty pipelines, when we went in, when I spoke to Justin Trudeau, I did not realize what came up behind me. This little beauty held it up. When I went to speak to Justin that day, I was not sure, because I tried 3 days earlier in Sherbrooke, but it didn't happen. But the way the people have congregated here together is just amazing. Many people of you in this audience today are friends of mine that I have met in Sherbrooke, St. Hyacinth. I have met you at the very first day of our rally. I'm with a lot of the organizations now fighting the same battle. They're behind me, I'm behind them. We're all got the same cause for the same reason. We just have had it. We are just not going to take it anymore. Justin Trudeau is actually a good person. We can't get rid of him. We can mold him. Just tell him to snap out of it. Get your job done and do some action. I know we can work together. We can make a good, strong country, because Canada is beautiful, but we're losing Canada for a horrible, horrible reason. The ecosystem will not accept all of these pipelines. There must be other reasons, but they are not listening and they don't care. Therefore, we'll just have to go to the corporations who are handling them and go a little bit further with that. And I will say too, I'm in contact with my people. It is very hard and difficult, because we had one contact for Unist'ot'en, one for Gidimdan. Now there's 3 of each because it's just gotten so far, so big and so far and so fast. We only had to deal with a very few media. Now we have international media. We've had people from Hollywood phoning the Unist'ot'en Nation, standing behind them. Susan Sarandon, many women, beautiful women like her, have sent messages to the Unist'ot'en, and Frida Houston got that message, and it was so enlightening to hear the amount of people who is behind us. David Suzuki, the biggest person that I love in this world, has done a huge thing with the First Nations, Indigenous people. He has an Indian name. And a few of them have adopted him. And he lives actually in their territory for the whole summer because he is studying everything that's going on. Behind what I teach is all the time is with my jacket. And when you see it behind my jacket is a salmon. And that's what I have. It's a wild sockeye salmon, and this is something that I carry very dear to me. What I was really hurt the other day was really sad to hear is that our salmon stock is being ruined and damaged because of all what they're doing up there. And anybody who has been seeing all of the images the last last 24 hours, it was just enlightening to see that they plowed over the territory where all the trap lines, they did not even allow them to take their traps out. They just plowed it over. And I just said to my sister, I said, we just have to just find a way. Like Stuart just says, we need the medicine. We need the healing now. We need to figure and find out a solution of how to grasp this into our hearts. Our hearts are torn apart. Find a way to deal with it every day. Go home, teach your children what exactly is going on out there. I cannot believe since the 8th of January, how many people actually live under a rock that do not know, other than cell phones, what's going around on the world beside them. I've asked them, have you seen this? And I said, no, we haven't. Wow, I didn't even know this was going on. This is where the teachings, I know the high school, the college, the university age, they're into it. They all are very well educated to it, but the world abroad has got a very low perspective of knowing what's going on. And in our territories that we have, it's not that it just happened, it just erupted into something more so horrible that our hereditary chiefs, I'm so sad for them because they have just been working around the clock, and I pray for their souls every day. When you guys are eating, how did you like my moose meat? I had a moose fairy, 2 of them in fact, who came up, and I was so happy. I hardly slept all night, and I want to give tonight a really warm welcome to all the volunteers that you've seen tonight who have helped out in the kitchen. Stand up, Sydney. My other little chef. All day, and just, and right now he said there's like this much left up. I said, you take it home, you deserve it. And the Bannockby, I want to thank Leah for letting us cook all of that in her kitchen in Ganawagi. And I want to thank Barbara and Ryan Young, and I want to thank the Buffalo Hat Singers and Timothy Armstrong. 2 years ago, 5 of us took hand. Ryan Young we were in the college. He said, I'd like to do a benefit for Standing Rock. He said, let's do it. We didn't meet once. We raised $3,000 for Standing Rock in St. Anne de Bellevue. Tonight is the same thing, the same 5. We did the same thing, and I think we raised about the same amount of money. We haven't tallied the silent auction, but the front, I should have brought it with me, and we made about over $1,000 at the donations at the front door. The kitchen got in about $800. The t-shirts sold in for $1,113. I really give a big, beautiful hand for Laurence. She's here. Give her a hand. All the posters, and this is out of her dime. done. Timothy Armstrong, I really thank you. A wholehearted thanks for you, because right off the bat, right on the radio, I could get this, I could get coffee, I could do this, and it was all done. Barbara and her and Ryan got all a hold of all the entertainment. I did the rest, whatever I could. And moose as I was, not anymore. All my friends that gathered around today, were beaters, artists, and many beautiful stories that came out of this. One day, about 2 days ago, a father phoned me through Facebook and asked me if I could talk to his 19-year-old son. And I said, what do I talk to him about? He said, I want him to know what is Unist'ot'en all about. I said, absolutely. So we spoke for about a half an hour, and he had a really good education after the talking, and they messaged me about half an hour later and said, thank you for talking to my 19-year-old son. He really appreciated it. And we sent $500. That was so beautiful. And so many stories like this have come out of this tragedy that we have. It sort of makes your day a little bit easier and better when things like this happen. I go home tonight, I know I'm going to have to find out updates from home, finding what's going on. I know they have been in the Supreme Court of Canada. We have got lawyers onto this. It's like on both sides. To get them down, there's two big issues, and the Unist'ot'en side. And I know that people are asking many things, the media, about the 14 people that were arrested. They don't know what the charge is, because honestly, I'm sure that they just don't know what to charge them with. They were on their own land, defending what was rightfully theirs. So we just don't know the story until it comes out. So many people have reached out to me. I have been flooded with phone calls, emails, people reaching to me on Facebook. Please come and talk to my church. Please come and talk to my organization. Please come to the march that I'm doing. Please come to my school and talk to me. Please come to the university and come to the college and talk to me. I will really love to do all that. I sort of just need a little bit of downtime after. I haven't stopped since the 7th of January, because I just felt from my own heart, there's a lot I've got to do as a Wet'suwet'en, and there's a lot I can do as a Wet'suwet'en. With me, with a few friends, we can just get the word out from one to the other, to one province to the other, and from one hereditary chief. No, from our chiefs, our hereditary chiefs, to other people in other nations, the Mohawks. I have asked them, please send the messages. And what you have sent tonight is what we really need. I need the other nations behind me, knowing our story, that it's got to get out, and you've brought it forth. Our hereditary chiefs have been, they had a 2-day meeting with all the Union of BC Indian chiefs. There was 80 of them in all that traveled all the way up to Unist'ot'en and to the Wet'suwet'en, and they had a 2-day meeting, a long day meeting, and what the talk was basically about is to talk and deal with what the RCMP are all about. And it was just one thing they are not going to let go. Justin Trudeau had said that we've seen it on the television, that he knew the RCMP did a wrong thing. He's the person that's got to correct it all. And start right from the top is what everybody's asking. I really want to thank you all. I want to get the rest of it. Is more entertainment coming out? That's awesome. While that's going to go, I'm going to go take care of the silent auction. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. Give yourselves a big hand. Our snow and everything else, but you know, the ones that did come out, I really appreciate it. And if anybody needs a lift home, I've got a car, I can give you a ride home. I have in the kitchen, somebody donated a lot of Tuscan bread. So come to the kitchen and see me, and I want you all to take some bread home after. I've got a lot of big bags of it. I really appreciate the person that brought it in, and all the food that was donated also, everything that was in there. This whole thing went on with the only cost that we have is this church. Everything else, pro bono. I love it. Thank you very much.
schools. Big atrocity. Everybody knows that. Kidnap children. Everybody thinks that was in the past. You heard of these colonizing actions such as that, and everybody, so-called Canadians, like to separate themselves from colonization. Oh, that wasn't me, that was 100 years ago. Every so-called Canadian is guilty of colonization right now. Continuing the colonization upon the Wet'suwet'en people, continuing it everywhere, and it's happening right in front of your eyes, but yet you believe you are in a democracy. The day after every so-called Canadian voted for Justin Trudeau, he went and kissed the ass of that woman he calls his queen. So you are not in a democracy. No matter what you think, no matter what you believe. You are in a dictatorship here in so-called Canada that is still guilty of colonization and genocide. You're watching it play out under your noses. What are you going to do about it? When you heard of residential schools, you can separate yourself and say, that was somebody else who kidnapped. Right now, it's you. It's not somebody else. What are you going to do about that? You think the residential schools hit us hard? We are still in our identity. But you know what it done to you so-called Canadians? It made you kidnappers. It made you rapists and murderers. It didn't do that to us. We are still in our identity. It is you that is compromised. You think we are on the wrong end of the stick here, but it is actually you. Because it is you that is compromising your humanity as her people stand in their humanity. Think about what you are confronted with. We know what we've been confronted with for 500 years. You're just waking up to what you were confronted with. Think about that tonight when you go to sleep. No. Oh.
Thank you. Thank you very much.